This video sponsored by Meeple Movers. No minimum order, no subscriptions. Free shipping on every item, every day. At meeplemovers.com.
Hello and welcome to Brian's Got Game. I'm Brian. Today I've got a game called Inner Sanctum. Inner Sanctum is a set collection card game for 2 to 5 players by Ben Burns and will soon be published by new Comet Games. In this game, players are part of a secret underground cult, racing to be the first to reach level 7 and enter the Inner Sanctum. During each round, you will try to collect sets of the different types or suits of cards. There are spells, rituals, artifacts, cultists, and a few more. At the end of the round, if you have the most of a suit, you gain a favor token that can be used later in the game for a special bonus. Action cards can also be used to give you an edge. However, if you use them for their power, you gain corruption tokens. The more corrupt you become, the harder it will be for you to win. So let's check it out, and I'll show you how to use favor tokens, how to avoid corruption, and how to call upon the Dark One in Inner Sanctum. Okay, so you're going to give each player a player board with this token on level 1. You give one to each player. And when you set up, make sure it's the one with the green guy. Then give each player player aid. I'm going to remove these to have less clutter, but it just has a list of all of the different suits, and then what the favor token does, and then on the back it shows all the corruption, what happens when you have enough corruption. So each player would normally have those, but I'm going to remove those. Then shuffle all the cards, and then deal 4 to each player. This game is played in 2 phases, the control phase and the gathering phase. The control phase is the first phase, and it's the one where you're trying to collect your sets. So the first thing you do on your turn is you draw 2 cards. Normally you can draw from the draw pile or the discard pile, but being the first player, there isn't a discard pile. So I have to draw 2. So now at this point, I have 2 politics and 2 artifacts. So right now I could play an action card. Action cards are marked by this little green arrow. They have abilities on them. This one is a counter spell, so I can only play it when somebody else plays an action card. So I can't play any action cards, so now I discard. So you have to discard 1 card every turn, so I'm going to discard the spells. Alright, so now this player, you've got Rituals, Blackmail, and Cleanse. So we don't really care about the spells, so we're going to draw one there. We got a Cultists, and we're going to draw another one, Politics. So we don't really have any sets. We have Rituals, so what we can do is we can play this action card. This is Blackmail, so you're going to pick a player and name a card. If they have that card, they have to give it to you. Now, when you play an action card for its ability, you gain the corruption on the bottom. So something else is that you also have these corruption tokens nearby. I'm going to keep them off screen, but since I played that, I'm going to gain 1 corruption. So I'm going to ask this player to give me all of their rituals, and we have 1, so we're going to give it to them. If they didn't have 1, they'd just say go fish, but they wouldn't actually go fishing. So I got that card, and now I have to discard. So I'm going to discard the Cultists. There. So play continues, each player drawing cards, there, until one of a couple conditions are met. So one of them being your hand size exceeds what your limit is, and the limit is on the corruption card. Basically, if you have 5 or more corruption, your hand limit is 9 plus. 9 is less than 9, so your hand limit is 8. And if you have 20 plus, then your hand limit is 7. But at the beginning of the game, everybody's is 10. So if at the beginning of your turn you have 10 or more cards, then you have to call for the gathering phase, the second phase. If you have 8 or 9 cards, you may call for a gathering at the beginning of your turn, before you draw or take any actions or discard any cards. So let's jump to the gathering phase. Got 9 cards here. So now we're going to make our groups. So we've got artifacts, and we have 3 politics, and we have 2 rituals and a 3rd artifact. Sweet. That's actually really good. So you need 3 of a suit to put it out there. So we've got those three, and you're going to put these face down. I'm just separating them. So you're just put all of your cards that you're going to score in front of you. Every single player is going to do this. This is at the beginning of the phase. Everybody just puts out all of their cards that they're going to score this round. So bad luck. We got sets of 2 sets of 2, but we can't score any, so we're just not going to put any in front of us. We got a bunch of spells there, a lot of spells. And we got 2 politics, but that looks good. And over here, got rituals. and he also has politics. So put those out there. And then we're going to flip them over one by one. So we're going to start by reveal all of your artifacts. So everybody who's scoring artifacts would then flip over their artifacts. So those are all spells, and we've got rituals there. So we have the most with 3 to 0. So then what we're going to do is we're going to gain corruption depending on how many you have. So since I have 3 cards, I'm going to get 2 corruption. So there's my 2 corruption. I also get a favor token with artifacts on it, and then later I can use it to get any 2 cards from the discard pile, which is pretty sweet. There we go. And then these are discarded, and since I have the most, I move up a level. So now I'm a level 2 cultist. Alright, and the next one is Cultists, so we're going to reveal all of our Cultists. We don't have any of those, and then next is Politics. So we got 3 Politics, and this guy has 4. So this guy has more, so he gains the level. He also gets his favor token, and he gets the corruption. He gets 3 corruption since he had 4 cards. And then this guy gets 1. So you also get 1 corruption for each set you didn't go up a level in, that you tried to score. So politics. They're all discarded. And then the next one would be rituals. We score that there. We have the most. There. He also gets his corruption. And he goes up a second one. And then lastly, spells. This guy had 5 spells. So he gets spells, and then he gets 4 corruption. Alright, and then this guy didn't play any sets, so he doesn't get to move up any levels or gain any corruption during the gathering phase. So you can only keep up to 4 cards from your previous hand. So we've got 3 here. I'm going to keep all of them. We're going to keep our artifacts and our cultists and our counterspell. We're going to discard the counterspell. So, and then we have 2 here, and then we have more here. So we're going to discard this Dispel Magic and this Blackmail, and the other Dispel. And then you shuffle all the cards back together, and then you deal out 4 more cards. Deal up to 4. So this guy has 4. This guy has 4. This guy has 4. This guy also has 4. And then you play another round, and then you keep going until somebody gets to level 7, or one of the other things. I'll talk about it in a minute. So you can use all of these tokens for different things. Like the artifacts is you can take any 2 cards from the discard pile. So you've got the discard pile there. I just would discard it. You can play it at any time. There's a couple of times where you can't play it, which is they're all mostly during the gathering phase. And the other one is after another player has played their favor. And you can only ever have 1 of each type. So if I already have a politics and I score another politics, I just don't get the politics token. So I discard that, and then I just pick any 2 from here. And you also get 2 corruption for each favor token you use. So then I'm going to go up to 5 corruption. So they're powerful, but you gain corruption. So some special things you can do, action cards, are one of them is cleanse. So this one is the only card where instead of gaining corruption, you get rid of corruption. You would take 3 of your corruption and give it to other players. I can give all 3 there, I can put 1 here. That's cleanse. Another one is sell your soul. So you draw 5 cards. So if nobody else counters this, so I play it and then everybody else would want to counter it if they can. And you can counter a counter spell, if that could happen. So you would then draw 5 cards from the deck. I'm immune from all action cards for the next 2 rounds. And then I gain 5 corruption. So there's my corruption. And something, you flip your board over. So now I'm red, level 2. And then you remind yourself that this is your soul for your round 1 and round 2. And then the last special card is the Call the Dark One. So this one is, you have to play it with 1 of each card. So you need a politics, an artifact, and 1 of all the other ones. And then you play it with this card. And then you take 3 corruption tokens, these ones, and you toss them up into the air. If they all land on Call the Dark One, you win the entire game. the entire game is over. If one of them is over, then you failed. And you get 20 corruption for choosing to call the Dark One and failing. So now I have 20 corruption if I failed. So if someone calls the Dark One, they immediately win. Otherwise, the person to get to level 7 wins. If still a tie, whoever hasn't sold their soul, still a tie, either both of them have or both people didn't, then it's the person with the least corruption. If still a tie, then you share the victory. And that's how to play Inner Sanctum. Okay, I've got my dad here for parents' opinion. So Dad, what did you think of Inner Sanctum?
I wasn't crazy about the theme of Inner Sanctum. I don't do Cthulhu or H.P. Lovecraft or...
You're not a cultist?
I'm not a cultist. But I thought that the mechanics of this were really cool. It felt to me kind of like an old school card game, almost like a classic cards with numbers type game.
Yeah, you're drawing cards and then discarding them.
Collecting sets. Yep.
So components. It's a prototype copy, so we're going to skip over that and the artwork.
Okay.
Strategy. So what you're doing is on your turn you're drawing a card and then you do the action or do an action and then you discard. So that's pretty classic. You draw and then you discard.
Yeah, the rounds go pretty quick. I mean, you're just drawing cards, trying to collect sets, right?
Now, it's the second phase that I think is really cool. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to have the most of a single suit. So you're trying to have more cards of any other player, but the less you have, the better it is for you. You get less corrupt. So if I only have if I have 3 cards and I'm more than anybody else, then I get 2 corruption.
Oh, I get you.
Then 3 corruption.
It's not really the less you have, because then you might not win.
Yeah, but it's like you want to beat the other people, but you don't want to beat them by a lot.
Number.
Yeah,
right.
Though if you get all 7, you take 0 corruption. Well, not all 7. There's more than 7. But if you get 7 of them,
That's pretty tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that this game plays best with like 5 players, because everybody, I can't remember how many suits there are. There's 6 or 7 different suits.
There's a bunch of suits.
And everybody's kind of fighting over all of them, trying to have the most of them.
So you get more conflicts that way.
Right. So when we played in a 2-player game, we were just kind of like, I'm collecting these, and in a 2-player game, you can kind of get away with maybe winning 2 sets and jumping up 2 levels at a time.
And when we played with 3 players, one player did that 2 or 3 rounds in a row and won.
Yeah, and destroyed us.
Yeah. I was only like a level 2 cultist.
But the action cards are pretty cool too, because you can name an entire suit and say, get rid of those.
Yeah.
Which could be pretty devastating in a 5-player game.
Yeah.
In a 2-player game, it was like, get rid of all your business. And you're like, I don't have any business.
Yeah.
Yep. So, anyways, I thought that was cool. The corruption, I thought was also cool.
So the more corrupt you were, the more...
It hindered you more, right? So, like...
You had to do it with less cards.
You got less cards in your hand, or you drew less cards.
Or you had to call a gathering when you had less cards.
Right, so your max hand size was smaller. So I thought that was really kind of cool. So if you are throwing down those action cards and becoming corrupt, or it's almost kind of a catch-up mechanism, if you level up fast, because, you have 6 of one of the suits, you get 6 corruption, right? So it kind of, it makes it
5.
so... Oh, you get 5?
Yeah, that's 1 less.
Oh, 1 minus, okay.
And also, you get corruption for ones you don't win. So if I have 3 sets that I put out, but I don't win any of them, then I get 3 corruption, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot going on.
It's
a quick, quick, smallish type of game, but there's a lot going on. I thought the mechanics of the game were interesting.
Yeah, I did too. Fun game. We played it a couple times with 2 players. I think we played it 3 players. We didn't go any higher than that.
Yeah, we didn't go higher than that, but I think that it does shine with more
players.
Yep.
So overall, I had a lot of fun with this game. We kept playing it, and I really liked the mechanics of, like, they're using the old draw, discard, and then also in the gathering phase, how they worked that out.
Yep. So was it easy for kids?
I mean, yeah. Some of the cards are kind of, just they've got reading on them.
Yeah, there's reading on them, and then also kind of the art and the theme is not,
at least in this version of the art,
super family friendly, right?
You're a cultist.
Yeah, calling upon the Dark One.
Yeah,
but
favorite card.
I don't know. Other than that,
I didn't get to do it.
I think that you tried almost every time.
I did. I didn't get to do it. I have 4 or 5 of them, and then I play a card where I drew 3 cards, and then I would have sets. It was the last round. The guy over here was about to level up to level 7, and then I had literally 2 of all but 1 card. And I didn't get to score any sets, and I didn't get to call upon the Dark One.
So overall, It's okay.
Okay.
Overall, this is a fun little game. I hope through the Kickstarter stretch goals, some things can get added to it and really make this one shine. So go check this one out on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Soon.
Inner Sanctum, new Comet.
Yep.
So thank you for watching Brian's Got Game. Please like us on our Facebook page. Send us a tweet at Brian's Got Game. Visit our webpage, briansgotgame.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Brian, and this is my dad. See you next time.